Welcome to True Unseen Crime, where shadows speak, secrets bleed, and justice hides behind a mask. If you're drawn to the dark, the twisted, and the stories they never wanted you to hear, you're in the right place. In the vibrant yet perilous streets of Chicago, chaos lurks just below the surface. When seasoned FBI agent Kate Ramirez is summoned for a top-secret undercover operation aimed at infiltrating the infamous Alvarez cartel, she knows this won't be just another day at the office. With her sharp instincts and quick wit, she prepares for a world filled with crime, danger, and unexpected laughs along the way. Her life, and the lives of many others, hangs in the balance. Kate is no stranger to high-stakes operations, but this one has a personal twist. She's posing as Maria, a single mother desperate for a fresh start after losing her job. Her first encounter with Luis Alvarez, the charismatic yet ruthless cartel leader, is both comical and cringeworthy. When she accidentally spills a drink on him at a bar while trying to maintain her cover, he lets out a laugh that turns into a surprisingly flirtatious banter. "Are you trying to charm me or just ruin my jacket?" he quips, setting a light-hearted tone amidst the tension. As Kate navigates the cartel's lavish parties and seedy rendezvous, she quickly realizes that undercover work is more than just surveillance. It's an uncharted territory of awkward moments, unexpected friendships, and the occasional hilarious mishap. She befriends quirky cartel members, including a flamboyant drug dealer with an obsession for fashion and a tech-savvy hacker who can't stop quoting movie lines during tense moments. Just as Kate starts to gather crucial information about the cartel's operations, a twist of fate throws her into chaos. On a seemingly ordinary night, while the cartel celebrates a lucrative deal, Kate stumbles upon a bizarre initiation ceremony for new recruits that involves an absurd obstacle course, complete with inflatable sharks and silly string. The laughter quickly fades when chaos erupts, and the gang is ambushed by a rival crew. In the midst of the chaos, bullets fly, and the entire initiation turns into a slapstick comedy of errors. Amidst the pandemonium, Kate dodges attacks and accidentally takes out a few gang members with a well-timed slip on a banana peel, proving that sometimes being undercover involves a healthy dose of luck and humor. As Kate immerses herself deeper into the cartel, she uncovers a shocking betrayal that threatens to expose her cover. A mole, rumored to exist within both the cartel and her own FBI team, widens the cracks in her carefully constructed facade. With paranoia setting in after receiving anonymous tips about her true identity, she decides to investigate. Her days are filled with comical misadventures, like mistaking a rival gang member for a pizza delivery guy and a catastrophic mix-up involving a suspicious birthday cake and dozens of sparklers. Amid the laughter, tension builds when she discovers that the mole is none other than her rookie partner, Ryan, whose boundless enthusiasm hides a darker ambition. With his sights set on climbing the cartel ladder, Ryan believes the cartel's glamour outweighs his loyalty to the agency. Just as Kate convinces Javier, her unexpected ally who despite his fierce persona has been trying to help her see the light in the darkness, that they need to confront Ryan, a shocking twist reveals that the mole isn't just feeding intel. He's secretly planning to betray Kate by orchestrating a rival takedown during a huge cartel gala. "Who knew you could turn the tables while dressed as a bridesmaid?" he boasts, referring to her cover story, while showcasing his newfound loyalty to the cartel. When the gala night arrives, Kate devises a plan that involves hijinks and miscommunication, leading to a mix-up where attendees of the gala find themselves caught in a competitive hot dog eating contest, all while true intentions simmer beneath the surface. As chaos unfolds, Kate must play both sides, convincing Ryan she's on board with his plan while secretly gathering evidence. In an adrenaline-fueled climax featuring slapstick comedy, tense confrontations, and unexpected alliances, Kate navigates a high-stakes showdown with both cartel members and FBI agents. She uses her undercover persona's charm to keep the cartel off balance while simultaneously sending coded messages to her backup team. Just as the crowd loses themselves in food fights and laughter, Kate manages to unmask Ryan in front of the whole cartel, revealing his betrayal and putting paid to the rival gang's plans to ambush. In a humorous twist of fate, Ryan, having slipped on one of the last remaining hot dog buns, falls into a pool of confetti and is captured while spluttering excuses that nobody buys. In the aftermath, Kate reflects on her experiences, both the tragic and comedic moments that have evoked laughter and fear alike. With a cartel dismantled and Ryan in custody, she knows that the world of undercovers is complex, shadowy, and often absurd. As she reunites with her astonished FBI team, they can't help but laugh together about the bizarre night, a reminder that even in the face of danger, humor can break the tension. Kate emerges stronger, forever changed by her time infiltrating the cartel. Left Kate bruised. She prepares for her next mission, and emotionally, knowing the underbelly of media had a field day with headlines as like, it is dangerous, undercover agent full of awkward cartel party with food fight and felony arrests, and compelling the FBI's embarrassment every corner. But despite the chaos, her mission had achieved results. Luis Alvarez was still a free man, but his trust in his inner circle was fractured. And Kate? She was still Maria, the single mother with a mysterious past, at least in Luis' eyes. But something had shifted. Luis began inviting Maria to more private meetings, dinners, and even philosophical late-night talks about legacy and loyalty. His charm was dangerous, disarming even. One night, over a quiet rooftop drink, he looked at her and asked, "If you had to choose between justice and survival, which would you pick?" Kate smiled, careful. Depends who's surviving. Meanwhile, Ryan's betrayal had triggered an internal FBI investigation. Kate found herself navigating not just a criminal empire, but political quicksand. Her superiors, unsure whether she was compromised, started limiting her access to sensitive intel. She was now playing two games, one with the cartel, one with her own agency. To make matters worse, a new player entered the scene. Isabel Cruz. Luis's cousin from Mexico City, a sharp, unpredictable woman who had returned to clean house. Dressed in designer leather and wielding a machete like a conductor's baton, Isabel suspected Maria wasn't who she said she was. "You say you're a single mom," Isabel said with a sly smile, swirling her wine glass. "But your hands have no calluses. And your eyes? Too alert, like a cat in a doghouse." Kate laughed it off, improvising another heartfelt tale about escaping an abusive marriage and raising her son alone. Isabel didn't press further, but her eyes lingered too long. Back at her safe house, Kate met with Javier, who now worked as her informant. The two of them had formed a strange partnership, bonded by secrets and sarcastic banter. "This isn't just a cartel anymore," Javier warned one night, pacing. "It's a family war. And you're in the middle." Kate had noticed, too. Since Isabel's arrival, several cartel members had vanished. One was found stuffed inside a taco delivery van. Another inside a bounce house after a child's birthday party. Things were escalating rapidly. Then came the next curveball. Luis proposed. Not marriage. A business expansion. He wanted Maria to run a new operation, smuggling pharmaceuticals through community health vans across state lines. "You're smart, Maria. You've got heart." And no one suspects the mother with the minivan. It was genius. And terrifying. Kate knew saying yes would keep her close. But it also meant managing real crimes with real victims. Her FBI handler was hesitant. "You cross this line, Ramirez, and you may not come back," they warned. But Kate went ahead. Because in the new operations files, she'd spotted something chilling. Documents tying the cartel to Project Orion, a secret government black market deal that had mysteriously disappeared from records 5 years ago. And that's when everything unraveled. One night, on a routine medicine run, Kate's van was intercepted, not by the police, but by masked gunmen who seemed to know exactly who she was. As bullets tore through the van, she barely escaped into a drainage tunnel, soaking wet and clinging to life. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "They know. Run." Kate went dark for 48 hours, using Javier's help to trace the number. It belonged to Agent Morgan Trent, a long-retired FBI legend believed to have died in a plane crash over the Gulf 6 years ago. Except he hadn't. Trent was alive, deep undercover, and now watching the same cartel from a different angle. He arranged a meeting in a shady diner outside Joliet. Over stale coffee and burnt toast, Trent broke the truth. Project Orion was never shut down. It was absorbed by the cartel. Luis didn't infiltrate the government. The government built him. Kate's jaw dropped. The FBI, the DEA, even parts of Homeland, Luis Alvarez had been a controlled asset gone rogue. A test subject in a project meant to stabilize foreign operations using criminal influencers. Now he was off the leash. So, what do we do? Kate whispered. We burn it down. Trent slid a dossier across the table. Inside were photos, intel, and most importantly, a tape. The original surveillance footage of Luis's first government meeting. It was grainy but clear. Men in suits shaking his hand, handing him blueprints, money, and protection. Kate's mission had just changed. It wasn't about stopping a cartel anymore. It was about exposing a scandal that could shake the nation. But Isabel was already suspicious. And this time, she didn't wait to talk. She kidnapped Javier. Kate received a video. Javier, bound and gagged, hanging over a pit of snakes. Bring me the girl, Isabel's voice hissed. Or your friend becomes a snack. Kate had 24 hours. She formulated a rescue plan with Trent's help. Disguised as nuns from a local shelter, complete with rosaries and tranquilizer guns, Kate and Trent infiltrated the cartel's jungle-themed hideout, which doubled as a lavish illegal zoo. What followed was utter chaos. A tiger was accidentally released. An exotic bird flew away with Isabel's phone. Javier, though traumatized, managed to taser a guard using his braces and a soda can. And Kate? She faced off with Kate Ramirez hadn't slept in days. The postcard sat on her nightstand, like a ticking bomb. Still watching. Still waiting. It was Luis's handwriting, deliberate, elegant, unnerving. The implication was clear. He was alive, and he wasn't done with her. The FBI launched a full-scale manhunt, but every lead ended in smoke. Fake passports. Dead informants. Offshore accounts suddenly drained. Luis had become a ghost with a vendetta. Meanwhile, Kate was reeling. Her testimony had led to the quiet takedown of several Project Orion conspirators, but the DOJ buried most of the findings. They called it a containment operation. In other words, damage control. Trent disappeared again, back into the shadows. Even Javier opted for witness protection, trading cartel chaos for a new life as a middle school janitor in Iowa. Kate was left behind, hailed as a hero but treated like a liability. They offered her desk duty. She declined. Instead, she spent her nights poring over the dossier Trent had given her. There was one name that kept resurfacing. Dr. Felix Armand, a biochemist turned arms dealer, now rumored to be Luis's silent partner. Kate knew what that meant. Luis was building something bigger. Not drugs. Not guns. Something else. So she went rogue. Posing as an illicit pharmaceutical courier, Kate followed a cold trail to Panama City, where whispers of the Queen's vial circled among underground traders. A bioweapon prototype. Fast, lethal, and untraceable. And it was set to be auctioned in Marrakesh. Kate barely got in, posing as a Balkan countess with a fake scar and a thick accent, but the gala felt all too familiar. Elegant guests. Hidden weapons. Paranoia in the air. She recognized one face instantly. Isabel Cruz. Alive. Scarred. And now wearing a UN aid badge. Kate's breath hitched. Isabel spotted her, smirked, and lifted a champagne glass in mock salute. Showtime. They clashed again in the women's restroom. Less swords, more stilettos, and ceramic sink shrapnel. Kate disarmed Isabel with a hairpin and a fire extinguisher, pinning her against a mirror. You were dead. You jumped to conclusions. I just went swimming. Where's Luis? Isabel licked blood from her lip. Why ruin the surprise? Before Kate could press further, the fire alarm blared. Smoke filled the hallway. Someone had triggered an evacuation. In the chaos, the Queen's vial was stolen. Isabel was gone. Kate barely escaped through the kitchen, emerging onto the streets of Marrakesh, seething. Back in her safe house, a package waited. No sender. Inside, a USB drive and a note in Arabic. Still playing. Your move. The footage on the USB was grainy but horrifying. A controlled test of the Queen's vial on a group of prisoners in an abandoned Syrian facility. Within minutes, every subject was down. No blood. Just silence. Like someone had pressed mute on life itself. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a message. Luis was building an empire of fear. Kate uploaded the footage to a secure FBI server, but it was intercepted. Hours later, her apartment exploded. She wasn't home, but her neighbor was. The message was clear. No more warnings. Kate fled to Portugal, staying with a retired MI6 contact who owed her a favor and owed Luis a debt. Together, they cracked the second half of Trent's dossier, coordinates and shipping manifests pointing to a freighter in international waters, the Cassiopeia. It was set to depart from a hidden dock in Greece. On board, Dr. Armand, Isabel, and the Queen's vial. And maybe, just maybe, Luis. Kate assembled a skeleton crew, burned agents, loyal misfits, and one tech hacker who used to be a barista with the NSA. They boarded under fog cover at 3:47 a.m. What followed was a cross between Mission Impossible and Pirates of the Caribbean. Explosive charges. Hand-to-hand combat. A goat on the lower deck for unknown reasons. And finally Luis, standing in the captain's quarters. Alive. Smiling. Hello, Maria. They didn't fight. They didn't scream. They talked. Luis admitted everything. He'd used the government. Outplayed them. But his empire had outgrown him, and now he wanted out. And he wanted Kate to take over. Justice is dead, he said. But control? Control is eternal. Kate said nothing. Then she shot him in the leg. The final standoff came on the deck. Isabel appeared, holding the vial in one hand, a detonator in the other. You could have been family, she whispered, but you never knew how to belong. I belong to the truth, Kate replied. A sniper took Isabel down before she could press the button. The vial rolled, stopped inches from the edge of the deck. Kate collapsed, shaking. Luis was arrested. Project Orion was officially disbanded. The Queen's vial was secured, incinerated, and erased from existence. But the postcard? Kate kept it, framed on her wall, because sometimes the only thing more dangerous than monsters are the ones who make them. 3 months later, the world was quieter, but Kate Ramirez wasn't. Luis was locked away in a NATO black site somewhere in Iceland. Isabel was buried in an unmarked grave in Tangier, the Queen's vial now just a whisper in the wind. Project Orion had become a punchline in conspiracy forums, dismissed as fiction. But Kate knew better. And someone else did too. It started with a funeral. A real one this time. Javier had been found dead in Iowa, suffocated in a janitor's closet with a torn Bible page shoved in his mouth. Psalm 94 verse 1, underlined in blood. O Lord, God of vengeance, shine forth. It wasn't cartel work. It was personal. A week later, the NSA barista-turned-hacker, Eli, vanished off a Lisbon tram. His apartment had been ransacked, hard drives melted, coffee machine untouched. A sticky note on the wall. No more decaf. Kate didn't wait for orders. She had none. The Bureau had quietly shelved her, giving her a medal and a non-disclosure agreement. So she went off-grid. Again. This time, the trail led to Finland. A series of encrypted pings traced back to a research lab north of Rovaniemi, buried beneath a fake reindeer sanctuary. The project was called True North, a myth even among spooks. Supposedly shut down in the 90s, it was designed to monitor mental warfare potentials, weaponized empathy, synthetic telepathy, dream implantation. Fringe science. Until Luis had revived it. And corrupted it. Inside the icy lab, Kate found a frozen morgue of failed test subjects. One still blinked at her, hooked to wires, whispering her name. Kate ran. And that's when she saw her. A girl, maybe 12, with Kate's eyes and Luis's smirk. Dressed in white, barefoot, watching her through a glass wall. I'm not real, the girl said. But I remember you. Kate's blood ran cold. A new project had begun. Luis hadn't just wanted to build fear. He wanted to breed it, clone it,
Program it.
Release it. True North was the next phase. A soft voice hummed through the intercom. The girl looked up. Time for training. The lights flickered. Kate smashed the emergency panel and yanked the girl out. Sirens screamed. Security drones dropped from the ceiling like metal spiders.
Kate ran.
Out into the snow. Gun empty. Holding hands with a girl who may, or may not have had a soul. They didn't stop until morning. The girl slept in the woods, curled like a fox cub. Kate sat beside her, trying to process it all. Luis hadn't wanted her to kill him. He'd wanted her to inherit him. True North wasn't his endgame. It was his legacy. And now it was hers to destroy. Back in Lisbon, Kate burned everything: files, contacts, identities. She had one mission left: protect the girl, expose the project, and burn it to the ground before it spread. Before others like her woke up. The postcard was still on her wall. Still watching. Still waiting. Kate picked it up, flipped it over. This time, a new message was scrawled in red. "You're late, Maria." The girl, codename Vesper, was sleeping soundly on the cot in Kate's safe house when the first breach alert came in. 4 red lights. 4 signatures. Not drones. Not agents. Clones. Kate had seen the files. Luis hadn't just created one Vesper, there were 12. Each encoded with pieces of his personality. One for logic. One for cruelty. One for charm. One for vengeance. They were waking up.
She didn't call the FBI.
She didn't trust anyone in a suit. Instead, she contacted the only person who might still believe her. Trent. He showed up 2 hours later, with frostbitten fingers and eyes that hadn't slept in weeks. "You know you can't win this, right?" Kate didn't flinch. "I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to end it." They set traps. Wired explosives. Created electromagnetic pulses to fry any synthetic hardware the clones might be using. But by 3:03 a.m., the safe house was ashes. Trent was shot twice. Still breathing, but barely. And Kate? Kate faced them in the ruins. For girls with her face. With his stare. "You're obsolete," one said. "He gave us everything. And you? He gave you guilt." Kate raised her weapon. "He gave me free will."
Gunfire.
Smoke. And then silence. When it cleared, only one was left standing: Vesper. The original.
Crying.
Kate had spared her. And in return, Vesper had taken out the others. "They weren't me," she whispered. "They were shadows." Kate wrapped her arms around her. "Then let's walk into the light." 6 months later, the world believed Kate Ramirez had died in a fire off the coast of Spain. They even held a memorial, gave her a plaque, called her a patriot. But in truth, she was alive, raising Vesper in a remote cabin on the Faroe Islands. Teaching her chess. Teaching her choice. No more missions. No more monsters. Until one night, Vesper walked to the old wooden table and handed Kate something. A postcard. No address. No stamp. Just one sentence. "Some ghosts never burn." Kate smiled faintly. "Then we don't hide," she said. She tossed the card into the fire, held Vesper's hand, and watched it burn. If this story chilled your spine or kept you guessing, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and turn on notifications, because on True Unseen Crime, the truth is never silent, and the unseen is never far behind. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and never trust the obvious.